Good evening. Wow, it certainly has been a busy day. Throughout the day, of course, Russia at the forefront of the news. And then this evening here, the House vote in Canada on the Emergencies Act, which passed at least the House. Now, from my understanding, I guess it's kind of like here in the U.S. to where there's, I guess, another stage. I guess it has to go to their Senate, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't know Canadian government, Canadian law and stuff. But I'm going by what people were saying in a chat of a channel I was watching during the vote. And that's what they were saying, that it still has to go to the Senate. I don't know. I know one person commented that they would rubber stamp it. Again, I don't know. So we'll see. That's all we can do. There is word that the truckers are regrouping. And I know I saw a video earlier of a considerable amount of trucks waiting. I have no idea where they were at, but there was like a ton of them. So what's the next move? I don't know. I don't know how long it will take for this vote to go before the Senate and for everything, all the T's to be crossed and the I's to be dotted. I don't know what the chances look like of it happening. This would be the first time, not the first attempt, but the first successful time that they've invoked it, if it fully goes through. And it is just mind-blowing to me, the implications. And, they've already said that they have no intentions whatsoever of going back, that they want to make this stuff permanent. That is just, that, if anything, is unacceptable. And I really hope that the Canadians aren't finished. So we'll see. Only time will tell. Just because they put this emergency thing in place doesn't mean that the Canadian people are done by any shape or form. I mean, all it just means is he succeeded in his tyrannical rule. But we've seen situations like that in history. And it all depends. It depends on the Canadian people and their will. As far as the U.S. is concerned, tomorrow, at least the convoy that I had been kind of keeping an eye on, tomorrow they are due to Raleigh and start getting ready to head out, and then they will head out the following day. So tomorrow, the 22nd, and hang on. Let me see if I can find the name of it again real quick like. 1 second. Okay. Ondelanto, California. They're going to be departing Ondelanto Stadium. So that is where they're going to be leaving on the 23rd. So we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. There are other convoys that, in fact, I think there are some that are actually underway. I honestly couldn't tell you which ones those are, where they're at, or anything of the like, because from my understanding, there's quite a few of them. And, I don't just sit here and search for all the different convoys. I don't even really know where I'd begin. But there are different ones. I had posted information on one. Let me hang on here. Okay. This is another one. In fact, I think I might have this in the headlines. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, I actually do. So, let me go ahead and give you that, and I'll go ahead and start running through the headlines. I do have quite a few tabs up. The large majority of them do have to do with Russia and the situation unfolding there. I'll tell you what, I'm actually surprised at what's unfolded there today. So maybe I shouldn't be. I don't know. Anyway, let me try to clicky the button here. Freedom Convoy organizer reveals plans for D.C. Now, this isn't the convoy, and I want to make this very clear. This is not the convoy that I have been following. The one on Telegram and stuff like that. It's not the same one. The one that I have been following, they actually, for one thing, they put out a statement, and I heard them say this before, and it says here, the People's Convoy will abide by agreements with local authorities and terminate in the vicinity of the D.C. area, but will not be going into D.C. proper. And so that was an actual statement put out by them. There are a lot of people that are saying, oh, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna go there. It's gonna cause all kinds of problems and stuff like that. And I kind of got the hint pretty early on that that's not what their intent was to do. To actually go into D.C. and go to the mall or whatever, So it appears that like I said, that is not what their intent is. Let me get this back over here. However, this is a different convoy. It says here, one of the people behind the American Freedom Convoy revealed to Fox News on Monday that the truckers are planning to besiege the U.S. Capitol, squeezing it like a boa constrictor. So again, I want to emphasize, these are not the same people I've been watching. And it says Bob Bullis said the protesters' main gripe was vaccine mandates, and to make the U.S. government ditch those, the convoy planned to circle Washington, D.C., much like a giant boa constrictor, which, as he put it, squeezes you, chokes you, and then swallows you. The activist went on to warn that that's what we're going to do to D.C. That kind of, I don't know how I feel about his analogy there. I get it, but he could have probably chose a little bit of different words and got the same point across. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and play his video here, and you can think what you will on it. Oops, hang on.
Washington, D.C., and basically, I'll give you an analogy of that of a giant boa constrictor that basically squeezes you, chokes you, and then swallows you, and that's what we're going to do to D.C.
There's a lot of people that don't want that to happen and certainly want to be able to get to work, get to where they need to go, to have emergency services reach them in the event of an emergency. Do you understand the risks that you're putting in place by doing this?
There'll be a lane open for emergency vehicles to be able to get in and get out and all that. We will not compromise anybody's safety or health one way or the other. As far as if they can't get to work, geez, that's too bad.
How long will you be parked?
Pardon?
How long will you be parked?
I have no idea.
So, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's really known by many others or what, but here it goes on to say, apparently the truckers who dubbed their movement the Great American Patriot Project, see, the one I've been following is called the People's Convoy. Here it says they're aiming for the Capitol Beltway that surrounds Washington, responding to concerns voiced by Fox News journalist Lindsay Watts that the protests could interfere with the lives of ordinary people or even potentially endanger human life by blocking emergency vehicles. Bullis said the truckers would leave one lane clear for emergency vehicles. He stressed that the Freedom Convoy would not compromise anybody's safety or health one way or the other, and you heard that. However, there is something that I've noticed, and I don't know what to think about it. I don't know what I should think about it. And there's only one way to know for sure. And, that's to have, and basically others answer questions, which won't happen. But the thing of it is, my question is, how come all of a sudden we're not hearing anything more from Brian Brazzi, Mike Landis, Maureen Steele? We're not hearing anything more from them. At least I'm not seeing anything, and nothing's being brought to my attention as to them being on Fox or anywhere else. And we're almost, we're almost at the time of departure. No interviews. Yet this guy gets an interview with Fox. Huh. Just kind of interesting. This guy, I feel, if this guy's legitimate, I feel like he was kind of put into a line of questioning that made them look bad. On the same token, if this guy's not legitimate, then that's what his job is to make the movement look bad. So I don't know. But that wasn't the best, that probably wasn't the best way to respond. This is supposed to be, and if you hear Brian speak, or Mike Landis, or Maureen, they all say, peaceful. They really put that out there to make sure people understand. They don't speak in a language like this, basically. And I'm just saying, I'm just pointing it out. It's not that it's a super big deal, but I do recognize different things like this, and it's hard to say. I don't know this guy. I don't know if he's well known. I have no idea. But something seems a little fishy. So continuing on here real quick, I want to talk about Truth Social. And if you got an account on Truth Social, I would like to say congratulations, because I can't even get the frickin' site to work. So apparently people with Android have to wait for their version of the app to come out. So that sucks. People with Apple can go ahead and download the app and I guess sign up. However, on the desktop, I just get an error. So, and I just wanted to try to go ahead and sign up an account over there. But like I say, I just get an error. They say more or less stand by for the Android app. I don't know how long that's going to be. It might be one of those things to where you kind of have to use a mobile device to sign up with it. So I don't know. Anyway, that's the deal with that. I don't know. I probably am not going to be super impressed. I'm not impressed with echo chambers. It's not impressive. I mean, it is what it is. But I just think that's kind of crazy to block out another set of views. If I would only do that, in my opinion, if my argument was weak. I don't know. Hang on. So anyway, I guess I'll try as soon as I'll keep trying, and if I succeed with the browser, then good deal, and I'll let you know. Otherwise, I guess I'm waiting for the Android app. So this is something that's been being talked about involving the Canada protests. Police probe leaked messages where officers reportedly celebrated brutality. As it says here, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police announced on Sunday that it's looking into leaked messages, apparently from an officers' chat group, in which members appear to cheer on the trampling of Freedom Convoy demonstrators in Ottawa, and declared it time for the protesters to hear our jackboots on the ground. The RCMP is aware of the material circulated on social media pertaining to a chat group that includes some of its members, and we can confirm that we are looking into the matter, read a statement from the force. This material is not representative of those who have committed themselves to serving Canadians with integrity and professionalism. It says a federal police force, the RCMP, were brought in to assist Ottawa police in clearing the Freedom Convoy protests that occupied much of downtown Ottawa for the past 3 weeks. But anyway, you know the rest of the story. So they're obviously not denying the chat. Of course, as usual, they'll investigate themselves and nothing will happen. But, man, I'm telling you, people really need to wake up with this stuff. Apparently, Trudeau's party took a hit in a poll. This here says, new polling figures show Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party has been overtaken by the Conservatives amid waning support among Canadians for COVID-19 vaccine and mask mandates, and against the backdrop of a major crackdown on the trucker-led protests. The poll conducted by Main Street Research showed that voter support for Conservative Party of Canada has increased by 10 percentage points in the past month. The CPC would be the leading vote getter if an election were held today, garnering 36% of the ballots compared with 28% for the Liberal Party of Canada, the survey found. So, interesting that that's going on. Trudeau today made an announcement. Now, this was before the vote. And this here says Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Monday announced that the recently invoked Wide-Ranging Emergencies Act, allowing the government to freeze bank accounts of Freedom Convoy protesters and their supporters, will remain in effect even as things seem to be resolving very well in Ottawa. Trudeau added that the act was not something to undertake lightly, insisting it would only be applied in a momentary, temporary, and proportional manner. We don't want to keep it in place a single day longer than necessary, he said. Now, mind you, you have already been told that there are some parts of this that they seek to make permanent very soon. So even though Trudeau is sitting there saying, "Oh, we want to remove this," understand they may remove this declaration, okay, but they're very likely going to put some permanent things in place that previously needed this declaration. Crazy, crazy, crazy times. Let's see. Change gears here. One moment. Alrighty. Let me have a sip of coffee. We're going to talk about the situation. Like I said, I've got a lot of tabs up involving this. The situation with Russia. And I really, to be honest, I kind of had that on a back burner in my mind, to be honest. Guess that was a mistake. So I don't, I don't know all the implications of what transpired today with Russia. However, I'm pretty sure that that it's probably going to lead to some type of conflict. So anyway, we're going to start off just a little bit before, as far as the headlines are concerned, just a little bit before Putin's declaration, and then go from there. So this here headline is West wants confrontation with Russia, says Lavrov. And it says the West is attempting to incite an unavoidable confrontation with Russia over Ukraine, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Monday. Speaking to his Syrian counterpart, Faisal, Mekdad, Lavrov lamented that Russia is unable to focus its efforts on its relationship with Middle Eastern country. Hang on. Oh, here. Blaming Western attempts to fan the flames of conflict in Ukraine, alleging with the goal of encouraging war between Russia and NATO. The situation in the world is developing rapidly. This also applies to Northern Africa and the Middle East, including Syria, Lavrov said. Unfortunately, our efforts with you are affected by the atmosphere that is now being escalated, our Western colleagues. According to Lavrov, the Western alliance is trying to create an almost insurmountable confrontation with Russia. And I would tend to have to agree with that. So I don't know where this stuff, with these two areas, where it started, this Donetsk and the Lugansk, I have no idea. But if they want to be their own little separate sovereign territories, if they want to be territories under Russia, let them, So I don't know. Maybe all this stuff was already talked about and discussed, and maybe that's what Biden was leading on to when he was talking about just a little incursion, Maybe this is what they were talking about. Maybe this was a gift, if you will, given to Russia, because I do believe they do that. So, maybe the U.S. said, okay, and maybe there's some type of deal on the other end of this, but, as far as Russia is concerned, they get these two areas. So, who knows? Who knows what goes on behind closed doors? I know I don't trust any of it. But this is when he, recognized it. He signed it immediately. Now there were several headlines leading up to this saying that he was about to, that he was going to, and then this is when he actually signs it. And it says Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced that Moscow has recognized the two self-declared breakaway Donbass republics in Ukraine's east as sovereign nations as a military standoff across the contact line continues to escalate. Speaking as part of a televised address to the nation on Monday evening, Putin signed the decree saying that I deem it necessary to make a decision that should have been made a long time ago to immediately recognize the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics. Lawmakers will now be asked to consider statements of friendship and support with the two regions. The The move, he said, was a direct result of the failure of the 2014 Minsk agreements designed to put an end to fighting. They are not interested in peaceful solutions. They want to start blitzkrieg, he claimed. Every day they are amassing troops in the Donbass, Putin went on. He said at the same time he slammed Ukraine for extreme nationalism, Nazism, and Russophobia, pointing to the shuttering of Russian language news outlets and laws he said discriminate against Russian speakers. So, again, I can't tell you exactly what's all going on over there because I'm not over there. Let me have a couple of vapes. Yum yum. Okay. Come here, mouse. EU reacts to Putin's Donbass move. This here says European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has warned that EU will react with unity to Russian President Vladimir Putin's recognition of the breakaway Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics. Von der Leyen accused the Kremlin of violating the Minsk Accords, an accusation Moscow has previously leveled at Ukraine. The recognition of the two separatist territories in Ukraine is a blatant violation of international law, the territorial integrity of Ukraine, and the Minsk agreements, von der Leyen tweeted on Monday. I guess she went on to say the EU and its partners will react with unity, firmness, and with determination and solidarity with Ukraine. So that's what she had to say. Here it says Ukraine and EU agree on joint military mission, says Kiev. Ukraine has effectively sealed a deal on establishing an EU military training mission in the country, Kiev's top diplomat has revealed, amid an increasingly tense situation on its shared border with Russia. Speaking to reporters on Monday in Brussels, Dmitry Kuleba revealed that the bloc could soon take measures to assist Kiev's armed forces. We reached an agreement with the EU in principle that the EU will roll out advisory training in Ukraine, he said. However, he went on to say that such a deal would not include combat forces. Brussels will also offer a set of proposals on strengthening our cybersecurity, the diplomat added. So, here it says Putin orders Russian military to Donbass republics as peacekeepers. So, here is probably going to be what's known as the invasion, right? Might as well just put that label on it now. President Vladimir Putin has ordered the Russian military to secure the peace in newly recognized Donetsk and Lugansk republics, which were formerly considered to be part of Ukraine. Moscow officially recognized the independence of the two breakaway regions on Monday. Putin has instructed the Defense Ministry to send peacekeepers into the Donbass, while telling the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to establish diplomatic relations with the states. The Kremlin's official move comes shortly after Putin's lengthy address to the nation on Monday evening. In it, he explained the step as a long overdue response to what he described as the brotherly Ukrainian nation becoming a colony of the West and falling under the rule of Russophobic government both hostile to Moscow and denying ethnic Russians and Russian speakers basic human rights. So, and then we move on to NATO condemning Russia's recognition of Donbass republics. I'm just showing you just these various escalations as things went on. It says here the chief of NATO has condemned Russian President Vladimir Putin's recognition of self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic and Lugansk People's Republic in Donbass region of Ukraine. This further undermines Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, erodes efforts towards a resolution of the conflict, and violates the Minsk agreements to which Russia is a party, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg wrote in a Monday statement following Putin's announcement. He added that Donetsk and Lugansk are part of Ukraine. Stoltenberg further claimed Putin's announcement is an attempt to stage a pretext to invade Ukraine once again. In his announcement, Putin said Ukraine is amassing troops in the Donbass in violation of the 2015 Minsk agreements, and the Russian president also accused Ukraine's leadership of supporting Russophobia and extreme nationalism. So you watch. My prediction is that, Russia's going to send their peacekeepers, and I kind of have a feeling that shortly after, China is going to send peacekeepers to Taiwan. To keep the peace. Well, it's going to be a different type of peacekeeping. I mean, these people in Donetsk and Lugansk, they very likely maybe want to be a part of Russia. I'm pretty sure that the people of Taiwan don't want to be a part of China. I just kind of suspect that. Russia could be cut off from the world financial system, says the media. This says the media. That says a lot by itself. The White House is plotting new sanctions designed to suffocate Russia's banking system if Moscow chooses to invade Ukraine, Reuters reported on Monday. Citing 3 anonymous sources familiar with the matter, Washington is also planning to target certain Russian individuals and companies by freezing their foreign assets and banning them from using U.S. dollars to conduct international transactions. President Joe Biden's administration is prepared for an initial package of sanctions against Russia that includes barring U.S. financial institutions from processing transactions for major Russian banks, Reuters reported. The White House, however, has refused to comment. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets taken that far. It might. It's hard to say. Zelensky speaks with Biden and Johnson after Russia recognizes Donbass. Here it says Moscow's decision to recognize 2 breakaway republics in eastern Ukraine's Donbass region has triggered emergency consultations between Kiev and its most powerful allies, as well as retaliatory measures. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said on Monday that he discussed the events of the last hours with U.S. President Joe Biden and was planning to chat with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson after a meeting of Kiev's National Security and Defense Council. The urgency of the situation was such that Johnson interrupted a press conference to say that he was leaving to talk to Zelensky and to offer him the support of the United Kingdom. So, have another sip of coffee. And since we have to know what everybody thinks about it, I guess every one of us should write up an article for how we feel about the situation. I don't give up. Let's see. France responds to Russia's Donbass recognition. Says France on Monday condemned Russia's decision to recognize separatist regions in eastern Ukraine as a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. President Emmanuel Macron has called for an emergency session of the UN Security Council and EU sanctions in response. Russian President Vladimir Putin's announcement recognizing the republics, blah, 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 they're all the same. Clearly a unilateral violation of Russia's international commitments and an attack on Ukraine's sovereignty, Macron said in a statement. The French leader then got on the phone with his U.S. counterpart, Mr. Potato Head, and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. A White House readout of the call said the trio strongly condemned the Russian recognition of the so-called DNR and LNR regions of Ukraine and will continue to coordinate their response on their next steps. So, And then here, it says Donetsk and Lugansk celebrate Russian recognition. So, and like I say, if that's what these people want, then more power to them. It ain't nobody's damn business. Let them be who they want to be with. And the same goes to the United States. Leave people be. Stop forcing people to be one way or another. Just leave people be. Plain and simple. So, it's the last that I was putting out updates on this. It escalated to this level. Another sip of coffee. This is the last tab I have open. Then we can zip through the headlines. Hell, I actually read a lot of them to you already. We'll zip through the headlines and be done. Make it a simple, easy Monday night. I have a feeling, this is as much calm as we're going to get before the storm. So, a big storm comes, there's that inflow right before the storm hits. We're in the inflow. All right, U.S. evacuating Ukraine embassy staff out of the country, says media. U.S. State Department is again evacuating its Ukraine embassy staff, this time moving them across the border to Poland on concerns that Russia will launch an attack on Kiev, Bloomberg News reported. The latest move comes 1 week after Washington relocated its embassy operations from Lviv to Kiev, citing an allegedly dramatic acceleration in the buildup of Russian forces near Ukraine's borders. President Joe Biden's administration has now ordered all remaining State Department employees in Ukraine to leave the country altogether, Bloomberg reporter Jennifer Jacobs said on Monday, citing unidentified sources. So that is where that is at. Hey, I'm a poet. Have a few vapes. Run through these. Be done. I have a feeling tomorrow's going to be really busy. And I will try to keep up on as much info as I can when it comes to the U.S. convoys. And once we get a couple of reliable streams going from live streamers out there, I'll start going live and, rebroadcasting some streams of the U.S. convoys. So, all right. All of these from this morning that I put out, throughout the day. Australia demands answers from China over military laser claim. A Russian demand for antidepressants surges. Federal Reserve bans crypto trading for top staff. Covered that. Australia reopens to tourists after 2-year ban. Putin set to address security officials, says the Kremlin. Elon Musk tears into senator over tax remarks. A Russian guard post on Ukraine border hit by artillery shell, says Moscow. Iran nuclear deal overshadows Russia worries on oil market radar. Britain battered by severe storm. Prosecutor of Nazi Holocaust mastermind dies in Israel. A violent protest erupts over U.S. grant in China's backyard. Scrapping COVID restrictions, a moment of pride, says Boris Johnson. It's amazing how these countries now all of a sudden, we need to get rid of this. China slaps sanctions on U.S. companies over Taiwan arms deal. Billionaire wants McDonald's pigs to travel to slaughterhouse in comfort. Donbass rebels call on Russia for urgent military assistance. OSCE announces urgent session. Australia urged to stop maliciously spreading disinfo. Waste dumped illegally returned to the UK. Russia claims 5 Ukrainian soldiers killed in border firefight. Ukraine responds to claim Russia killed 5 of its soldiers. New global LNG leader could emerge this year. Seattle repeals racist bicycle helmet law. Government snubs oil deal with U.S. firm. U.S. Senate passes Ukraine support resolution. Deport extremist migrants immediately, says Putin. Donbass republics call on Putin to recognize their independence. Covered that one. Anti-gun activists condemn vile AR-15 for kids. They call it a JR-15. It's actually kind of a cool little rifle, it looks like. Tennessee mom traded vape pens for sex with minors, says police. Sound associated with Havana syndrome revealed. Russian markets down amid escalating tension in eastern Ukraine. Putin to announce decision on recognition of Donbass within hours. Just a moment. Germany takes issue with popular Tesla feature, says media. That would be the autopilot feature. Russia claims to have captured Ukrainian saboteur. King hid personal wealth in Credit Suisse accounts, says the media. That would be I can't remember which country now. Oh well. American embassy in Moscow is no longer safe, says ambassador. Ukraine reveals cost of invasion fears. Ukraine has more capabilities to get nuclear weapons than Iran, says Moscow. England scraps all COVID restrictions. Imagine that. Covered that. Charity spent 98% of money raised on salary for employees, says the media. Imagine that. Electoral Commission concerned about government intervention. 200,000 worth of Pokemon cards were stolen. Workers face terrible choice as COVID rules scrapped, says union. Major explosion in Lugansk's city center. EU Commission head not bothered by supposed snub, says spokesperson. Biden the best thing to happen to Putin, says U.S. Senator. Health Ministry will hire influencer mothers to encourage pregnancy. That's in Thailand. Putin said, Putin set to recognize Donbass, says the Kremlin. Hadn't quite did it yet, not at least per the headlines. Fake design firm cons dozens into 6 months of free labor, says the media. NATO is trying to create irresolvable confrontation with Russia, says Lavrov. Covered that. Extension of Belarus Russia drills indicates plan to invade Ukraine, says NATO. Police searching for 500-pound bear named Hank the Tank. Apparently he damaged like 38 homes in California. CDC withholds COVID-19 data that could be misinterpreted, says the media. Imagine that. That I covered. Let's see, covered that. EU promises united response to Putin's recognition of the Donbass. I might have did that one. I know I did that one. Moscow demands answers from NATO. I don't think I did that one. U.S. rents soar amid runaway inflation, says studies. Covered that one. Russia shows video of destroyed Ukrainian invaders' vehicles. Covered that. Tucker Carlson accused of possible treason. Anti-war protesters detained in Moscow. Russia could be cut off from world financial system, says media. Actually, I covered that one. Covered that one. And that one. At least 59 killed in mining blasts, says the media. Details of Russia-Donbass cooperation treaty emerge. Covered that one. UN chief assess Russia's move to recognize Donbass republics. And don't say gay bill requires students to be outed. So, whatever that is. Anyway, that's the headlines. And I'm going to sneak out of here and relax the rest of the evening. Because like I say, I have a feeling tomorrow a pretty large roller coaster begins. So we shall see. Anyway, I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.